What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Touchdown with Doug Smith. Now, folks, as you can see, I am not alone here. I have a living legend right next to me right now. Now, this gentleman, he goes by the name of Jason Babbin. He did a very long time in the NFL, 10, 11 years, two-time Pro Bowler. One of my favorite pass rushers in the NFL, hands down, had 64.5 sacks. I have Jason Babbin. How's it going, my friend?
It's going good, man. Weather's starting to turn, so it's fall.
Yeah, I'm down here in Orlando, so it's that time of year. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, hey, you had quite the NFL journey. I mean, you played for quite a bit of teams. You started off with the Houston Texans. Then right after that, you ended up taking and going to Seattle Seahawks, Kansas City, Philly, Tennessee, back to Philadelphia again, Jacksonville, New York, Baltimore, and even the Arizona Cardinals. What was that journey like for you?
I don't think the wife appreciated all the moves. It was a cool experience in the sense that you got to play for a lot of different coaches, meet a lot of different guys, and live in a lot of really cool places around the country.
Awesome. I bet lots of good food, I bet.
Oh, yeah, we definitely
That's awesome. Now, obviously, for someone to have a long career like that, and even college, and anybody knows play football, most people played since elementary years. How did you end up falling in love with the game?
Honestly, it wasn't like something I grew up saying that's what I want to do when I get older. Like I didn't have that those youthful thoughts. It wasn't really college where my college coach is the one that said, "Hey, you can do this professionally if you want to." And I literally remember leaving his office going, "Wow, I guess I can." And I kind of took things to the next level from really that conversation on for the rest of my life.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. And I heard you speaking in one of your other interviews, and you said growing up, your father had you doing a lot of hands-on work. Talk about the impacts that your father has had on your life.
For me, he was the guy that he was my accountability leader. He owned his own business. He blue collar, worked his butt off. Woke up at 5 a.m. and I always every young boy wants to be like their dad, and I was always waking up early with him. That was our time. He'd sit and have his coffee, and I just sit there with him in the morning. And as I got older, I'd go with him, the job sites, get the guys started in the mornings, and then I'd start working with them. So, and then even when I was in the football, like I'd call him on the way in the office, call him at 6, and that was our time to chat and catch up.
Oh, nice.
So I really appreciated that time, and looking back, it really ingrained, my work ethic, who I am and what I'm all about, and thankfully I've been fortunate enough now to kind of start that process with my own boys. So with my oldest son, like now we lift weights in the morning before school, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Really?
So the freshman, so it starts to come back full circle.
Oh man, that's awesome. Is he into any sports at all, or?
Yeah, he plays football and lacrosse. So
Very cool. I did my high school in New England, and I didn't know what lacrosse was, so I moved there. But it's really cool sport.
Yeah, it's a good complement to football. There's a lot of contact and a lot of running. So.
Yes.
And great, and thanks our lacrosse coach down here in Florida. He's really pro football, and football coach is pro lacrosse, so it goes hand in hand together well.
Oh, well, that's awesome. All right, now I have to ask you now. When you did these sacks, you did this really cool. I guess you call it a dance or a pose. I'm a huge fan of it. You did the. Where did that come from?
Well, I would always wish if I could. Someone says, "Here, I'm giving you 3 wishes." One of my wishes would be, I wish I could dance. I can't dance, so my celebration was just a pose because I knew my limitations. I knew I couldn't dance, so I had to come up with something.
Yeah, I got you. I love it. Yeah, honestly, it was enough for me. So you have me fooled. So that being said, the movie Avengers came out, 2 years ago, I think it was, and a lot of great superheroes. After your career, what Avenger, or even superhero, we'll just say superhero in general, matches how you play the game?
I don't know my Marvel characters versus superheroes, but I've always been a fan of Iron Man. You know, there's,
Oh, Iron Man.
I mean, that misunderstood, billionaire that has some selfish qualities, but at the same time has a big heart.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's before the first Iron Man movie came out, I never forget. I was all Batman and Spider Man. Then I jumped the bandwagon. I'm huge Iron Man fan. All
Yeah.
right. Now, as far as music goes, what was in your headphones game day, getting ready for the game?
I had I would say an array of genres. It was kind of more of a ramp up,
Gotcha.
as warming up. It was a little, some normal, maybe some slower, just some easy music, maybe in a little modern country, and then maybe lead into some old school rock and roll, and then lead into some really high upbeat tempo EDM, maybe some house, and then back to some like pretty intense rock and roll, and maybe even some rap, just
Yeah.
got the game day, the beats per minute, we're definitely above 140. It didn't really matter what it was.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, you can't. I mean, I've heard different answers. I've heard opera music. I mean, I've heard no music. I've heard speeches. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So awesome. Now, in your career, you have sacked a lot of people. A lot of people. Some of the greats. Some people would even call it GOAT, right? You sacked Brady, Romo, Peyton Manning. Anybody who you took so much pride in sacking. Maybe it was those guys or anybody who maybe smack talked to you.
I don't really would care who it is that I sacked. I mean, it was just, it was the thrill of the hunt. But anytime you can, get someone, I was disappointed I never got to play against Michael Vick. We were teammates for quite a bit, we're friends, but I was always upset I never got to play against him, especially prime. I know, one-on-one, I wouldn't want that. I want advantage, of that situation. But I got to practice against him. But it really didn't matter, who it was.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Michael Vick. I mean, I lived in Japan. My dad was in the United States Navy, and I remember when we lived overseas. I was the first one in my school with a Vic jersey, man. Wasn't even a Falcons fan. I was just a Vic fan, man. So that's cool. What was?
It was a touchdown play.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, when he came back, that 2009 year, I think it was that he was back in the league. I mean, he took the league by storm for sure.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. And then and then I have to take an ask. You had the infamous, and I remember seeing this and my jaw dropped. Pretty sure you know where I'm going with this. Andre Ellington, the hairful. Man, what was that conversation like? I saw you said it was an accident, but man, what happened during that play?
Well, I mean, it was an opportunity, and
Yeah,
I like to think I play like a heathen, like a
yeah,
Viking, with a whistle. That's kind of one of the, I would say, really cool things about playing defense and playing the NFL, especially the old NFL. Where that was playing like an animal and trying to end someone's career was a good thing.
yeah,
Um, now it's probably frowned upon, feelings and emotions and soy boys. Back then it was just you just raw emotion. It was frontal lobe. It was I'm a gladiator and I'm out here to end
yeah.
you and end this game.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the game. It's like, I mean, when people do this to Brady, and they're like, penalty. It's the game is. I still love the game, but it's changed a lot. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I
um,
think the two big things that really changed the aspect of the game. One was obviously the rookie wage scale, and I think it had unintended consequences. Obviously, they did it to protect themselves financially,
yeah,
but I think what it did is it really forced guys not to stay in college as long, not focus on that big deal. And granted, there weren't, such financial busts like, a Ryan Leaf or something like that never panned out. They got 60 million guaranteed.
yeah,
But at the same time, guys weren't willing to risk it all, for that king's ransom because they're, it's still a good paycheck, but now everyone's focused on their second contract.
yeah,
And then really affected, that was, this whole player safety thing. And really, it was just a vehicle to dictate, the different aspects of the game, because as you may or may not know, the financial model for the NFL is kind of predicated on doubling its revenue every 10 years. So if they don't increase, like at least this their, I'm assuming their thought process, certain subcategories, people that play, fantasy football, people that, participate and have favorite players, different leagues. So those guys being hurt, not available, or not up for fantasy football, or not on TV for the game time, videos or jersey sales, they looked at that as a lost revenue leader.
Oh yeah.
So, rules about where you hit quarterbacks, wide receivers, glance routes, defensive players, it really, I don't think they would care too much about, people's long-term health or short-term health, but they do care about the line. As most things in life you strip down, it's financially related. So those in conjunction with the NCAA enforcing the 20-hour work week for the athletes really kind of brought down where athletes were as far as skill level coming into the NFL as rookies. Like when I was under the old CBA, if you were a first-round draft pick, you were expected to be an impact player immediately. Yeah. And now, guys are situational pass rushes or situational players that are drafted in the first round, where that would have been totally unacceptable. I mean, even, second-round players back in the old CBA were expected to be impact players. So the quality of the athletes is not the same. So it's really affected the quality of the game, but it's, gotten them the outcome that they want. I don't know if they've have seen the come full circle with the financial rebound that they want, but I think most people that really understand the game of football will agree that the quality of the game has gone down to a certain degree in certain aspects.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard Bo Jackson made a statement recently that he would run, I think he said, 3,000 yards in today's NFL. I was like, ooh, it's a bold statement, but it could possibly be true,
Well, if they gave me like a $500,000 fine cushion, I think I'll pick up right where I left off right now.
Yeah.
I don't think my salary would cover the fines I would probably get.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about guys like a Ndamukong Suh, and like he's like count his money. He's like, you know what? Okay, I can save this over here for certain plays when I play Brady or Aaron Rodgers.
Well, like guys like him, he got, especially Ndamukong Suh. He grew up under the same, the tail end of Coach Washburn and how we approach, playing defensive end, how we approach, hitting, tackling, and playing whistle to whistle. Yeah. On that fine line, and then they really changed. He got a handle on it, and then it was really changed. Early in his. So it's like everyone's like, oh, he's an asshole, he's a mean person. And I'm like, well, what do you want? He's a defensive lineman. He wants to bust your spleen, crack your jaw, break your leg. Like that's his mindset. Like, what do you want him to do? Like, oh, hey, it's okay. It's
I don't hurt you. Oh, and he loses his job. Then what?
I just I
agree with you.
Put it that way.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then hey, I just got two more questions here for you. Let me see here. What is obviously right now you're into real estate. What initially got you into real estate?
Well, I grew up in the trades with my father. He had me on job sites, whether it was doing electrical, framing, concrete, whatever it was. I was always kind of thrusted into different roles from time to time over my youth. Yeah. Always enjoyed being creative and working with my hands. So even when I played in the NFL, I'd buy properties in the off season, and we'd renovate them. Not always me doing the work, but conceptualizing them, putting them together. And I've got rental properties from places I've lived all over the country still. And I really liked that. And then I got into more contracting, developing neighborhoods, apartments, and it was just something I really enjoyed. And I wanted to have kind of an umbrella that went over the whole thing, to kind of dress it up with state. And it's just been, really, really enjoyable from that aspect, because a big thing for the real estate company is culture. We have offices from, Michigan to Houston to, Orlando to Jacksonville. But I took that concept of the culture really important in the sense of anyone that has a real estate license, doesn't mean like, yes, come join Redzone. We're looking for a certain type of person, that person that wants coaching, a certain person that wants to improve, that embraces that lifestyle, that, wants competition, wants to be evaluated, willing to do the work, willing to grind, and also have fun and work hard at the same time.
Yeah.
We have all our agents take, profile test as well. There's a vetting process, but there's such a cool, specific, unique culture now at Redzone. Now we just had our 4-year anniversary yesterday. That when people come to Redzone, they know what they're getting. And one of the exciting things that we got coming up for 2021 is we're actually rolling out the Redzone franchise as well around the country. So it's going to be, now that we have our proof of concept over the last 4 years, and really what it is for us, it's just having that standard. I never played for the Patriots, but and I relate to this way where, if you're a guy like Randy Moss, for example, he taught, we were teammates, we're friends, and he told the whole story. Like, listen, when I went to the Patriots, like, I had to be a certain way. I had to buy into the team concept. I had to be selfless. I had to be coachable. I had to be willing to do all the things that were necessary for the team. Yeah. But it was his best year, so finding collectively those people that are willing to buy in and having a standard with no exceptions is kind of, that's our model, that we've modeled our culture after, like the Patriots. And it's just been so unbelievably exciting to see these people come in, selling 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and plug them into our individual coaching, plug them into our training programs, and see them double, see them start a real estate team, see their dreams come true, whether it's financial, which, obviously all goals have a financial component, but to see them change, to see their spirit change, to see the way they live their life, how they conduct themselves, and their whole demeanor just evolve, and to see that happen over and over again has been it's been something I didn't know I enjoyed or would enjoy or even thought about, but it really kind of is my daily, weekly highlight. When and everyone you talk about being selfless and being humble, but it just didn't happen overnight. When I realized that's what makes me happy, of course I'm gonna make money, but when I can elevate people around me and bring people around as a part of that culture, it's been one of the, it's not as exciting as playing football. I'll never be able to replace that.
Transition.
It's been a close second for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much for saying that, breaking that down for me. And so people can know who are watching this, what's the name of your real estate company?
RedzoneGroup.com.
Okay, excellent. And folks, I'm going to have the link down here below in the description. If you guys are looking on selling your homes, I have all the contact info. You guys make sure you contact this gentleman here. Take a look. Okay. And last question of the day. Had this amazing life story, and I bet it only gets better from here. You have a beautiful family. What inspires you? It's different for everybody, but what specifically motivates you?
It's important to understand your why, right? I'm a big fan of business planning. And a big component of business planning is, what's your why? What really motivates you? What drives you? So it's something I'm always asking people, that I work with to do, and it's something that I have to, do myself. But for me personally, is my family is my why. Teaching my sons how to be men is my why. What wakes me up in the morning. I've been traveling with lacrosse weekends and football just ending and coaching, getting up at 5 a.m. and driving, to different states on Friday, driving back Sunday night, 1 a.m, and getting up with my other son to go train him, and 6 a.m. on a Monday without any sleep. And people are like, well, why? I'm like, because I want to instill that, what my father instilled into me, and I want that legacy carried on. I want them to understand, like, you can have whatever you want, and for me, it's their success is my why.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Mr. Babin, Jason Babin, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm truly humbled you took time out of your busy schedule to come meet with me, and even a lot of people are going to catch inspiration from this. You personally inspired me today, so thank you so much for coming on.
Today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Folks, make sure you go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe button. And hey, like I said, is the information be down below in the description. You guys have a blessed day. Peace.